Hey, HannahMouse1 here. Welcome back to my devlog series for A Farmer's Life, the farming game that I'm making in Scratch. In this episode, I'll be adding an option to construct new buildings, namely the barn, as I work towards the next major update, which will be the animals update. So first, I revamped the UI for the hardware store, creating an option to build, and recoloring some of the assets just to make everything a bit more cohesive. I got everything laid out as I wanted it to be, and then tried to figure out how I wanted the player to be able to select what they're building. The first way I tried was to basically be the same as the research lab, with an icon for the building and a description that appears when you mouse over it. But I didn't know how to get all of the necessary information onto the screen. Namely, the player needed to know how much of any needed resources they had in their inventory, and I couldn't figure out how to make all of that fit, especially if you had multiple different resources needed. If there was only one, it would be easy, but if you have 3 or 4 items that you need, it's just a lot. So I switched up how I laid things out. Instead, each building will have its own page with a small picture to represent it, a description of what the building will do, and an icon for each resource that you need to build it. These resources show you how much you need and how much you have when you mouse over them, and if you don't have enough, the icon will be dimmed out. And yes, I spelt build wrong. No, I don't notice in this video. I'll fix it before the next episode. And then to get the building mechanic working, I create an icon for the barn on the map that will appear once the barn has been built. I also realized that I'd forgotten to include the cost on the barn page, so I added that in and got the building mechanic working. Eventually, I want to be able to upgrade the barn to unlock different animals. Obviously, this won't do anything until I actually add the animals to the game, but I can still get all of the UI made and working, so I made it so that hitting build can change an item in a list that represents the level of the barn, and also the building page displays a description of what animal will be unlocked and the new prices, for instance, of all the resources and money that you need to build or upgrade the barn. Okay, so a new building needs a new character to add to the roster. Everyone meet Bridget. I made the artwork for her, which is always one of my favorite parts of game development. I also made the barn background. I went for some burlap sacks, and I was really happy with the dithering effect that I did on them. And I also added some metal racks of hay further up the wall. The wall itself is made of red wooden planks, and I used uneven widths to sell the rustic barn look. I recolored the shop panel and made this all show when the barn is clicked. And I also made all of her quotes, and they're generally about not taking life for granted and making the most of it. This ties into her character story, but more of that down the line. And finally, I made a task which unlocks when you complete the furnace task, and that is to build the barn. And apart from that, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you did. It lets me know that this is something you want to see more of, and I'll see you next week with another video. Bye!